So, hello, friends, and welcome back. And I am Priyanka. And today we shall be discussing about how to approach a technical interview, whether it is a data science interview or any other technical interview you are appearing for, be it TCS, Infosys, Accenture, Wipro, etc. So, I will walk you through a very small PPT with four approaches, which just works well because it worked for me, and I thought of sharing it with you. So, without much ado, I will just share my screen and show you as to what I did. Okay. So I hope you can see this. So we'll walk you through these four steps, very small and very beautiful steps. So the first thing is that any question you are being faced in an interview, the first thing is understanding the question. Yes. If you understand the problem, you are halfway done. That is what it said, right? 50% of your problem is solved when you understand the question. And what happens here is that when you understand the problem, you know what you have to apply, right? And how can you approach this problem? So this is the very first thing, that do not jump into giving to an answer when an interviewer asks you. Just sit back and relax. Just think for a few seconds, or take even 1 or 2 minutes to think and understand that question. If you're not able to understand, ask some indirect questions so that you get more clarity from that question. What is it really, what the interview is really asking you? What is the need? What is he really exactly looking forward? Few interviewers are really smart. What they do is they do not tell you straightforwardly what they are looking forward. They will ask you some indirect questions which might be really confusing. So what you can do is you can just get them to the right question by asking cross questions, right? So try to be a little diplomatic, try to be a little good with your words usage, and get that question right. Because once you get the question right, you are gonna get the answer. That is for sure. So applying the concepts become really important here, because when you understand the questions, now comes the real task of solving the problem. And then what this is what makes me come to the second part of it, and that is your approach. How do you approach a problem? Now the interviewer is really looking forward for smart people who have a different approach, or even not a different approach, at least an approach which can solve a problem. You have an outlook. How do you look at that problem? How do you seek a solution for it? How do you deal with that situation? So I'll share my experience. I was placed in TCS during my college time. So I did it in information technology, BTech. So I was not a coding person that time. It was in Java and C++. So my interview asked me to make a program wherein he told me to apply three concepts together: encapsulation, polymorphism, and one more thing he said, to make a loop and something like that. And I was sitting there blank, not knowing how to do this. Okay. But he knew somehow that I wasn't knowing, I was not a coding person. But I solved that problem. You know what I did? My approach, it worked out. And how I did it, I'll walk you through. This will come in the third part of it, because I applied the second and the third part together. Okay. So my approach was to write down, to figure out what all things I really need. I took a little time, but yet I solved the problem. What I did, so that will come to the third part of it, because I'll cover the both things, right? It was quite interesting interview. I really loved that interview. So I involved the interviewer. I involved him by solving. I was solving in front of him. I was writing the code, and I was involving by discussing that if if this will happen, then this will happen, and if I apply this, then this will happen. I was involving him. I was telling him that if I'm applying this for loop, this will do this. If I'm applying that if else condition, because I want to call this. I was not knowing it, I was sure or not, but I was confident in telling him these things, that yes, this is it. I made an impression that I know it. But inside I knew somehow that I am not sure. I don't know. I don't know whether it will work or not, but it worked, because I tried to figure things out sitting in front of him, that no, I'm not giving up. Okay. I'm not giving up on this hard question. He asked me initially few easy questions, three, four easy questions on coding. I did that. Then he came, he raised his bar, and he gave me a program which was like three, four things clubbed in together. I never made these programs in my college, guys. Never. Nobody does that. Few do it, the toppers, but I was an average student. I never did that. So that was a task for me, and I really enjoyed doing that because it was a challenge, and I wanted to take that challenge. I involved, I had an approach. He liked that approach, and I was luckily, into PCS. So what happened was I discussed these questions with him. I discussed the solution with him, and he was impressed. He said, "Good." I said, "Wow, it worked." Huh? So I involve. So involve your interviewer. He is also a human being. He also makes mistakes. He's just like you. Okay. Don't make him sit here. Just treat him as a human being. Treat him as, yes, he knows he's having some knowledge. That's why he's here and you're here, and that's why you've been interviewed. Show him that yes, you are capable. Okay. Don't give up. I'm coming to the fourth point now, and that is most important. Be positive. Believe in what you've said is right. Okay. uh mm, yes, maybe, all these things are signs that you're not confident enough on what you've said as a solution will work out or not. And when you're working in real life, they want people who are sure enough, really confident on what they are doing. They know what they are doing. You should be knowing what you're doing. So it's all in your head. That's what the picture says, that it's all in your head, whether you think that the interview will judge me if I will discuss the problem with him. No, he will not judge. He will not. If he says that don't discuss it with me, that is a different thing. But at least try. Who knows, he might help you. Okay, don't pre-assumptions. Please don't go in the interview with any pre-assumptions. Just go with an open mind, and just go with a positive thinking that this is gonna be the best. I'm gonna be my best, and I'm gonna do it the way, in the best possible manner. That means, what I used to do was like, um, whatever I know is good, and within this, I would be able to manage any of the question. If he asks something, you know, outside from this, I would try to bring him back to the concepts I know. Yeah. Okay. Now I want to tell you one more thing about the interview what I gave. I want to tell you, go to the second part of it, and that is the approach. Let's talk about the data science interview which we all take, or which we are going to take, or any technical interview. Uh, Suppose an interviewer asks you which metrics, evaluation metrics you will apply in medical cases. Suppose you want to detect, you know, some kind of a disease, tuberculosis, or malaria, or any disease like a tumor, whether we've done a project on that, right, malignant or benign. Which classification, which matrice, evaluation matrice would you use for this? You answer it. Suppose you answer recall, then he will ask you why recall, why not precision, why not F1 score, why not accuracy. You should know that accuracy is used for the balanced data set, and in real life we hardly have balanced data set. Why are we using recall? It gives a good measure with false negative and false positives. Why are we using F1 score, right? So this is a harmonic being between the accuracy and the recall. So yes, it is a very good measure. You should know what you are telling. Don't speak up what you don't know, because they will then just take it another question from there, and then your morale and confidence just get worse. Speak up what you know. Okay, that's why in resume also, in here, in this approach it works, because what you have mentioned, the projects in your resume, it works here. Suppose I have mentioned 2 3 projects on machine learning, on NLP, on deep learning. I should be thorough with what I have applied, what matrices I have applied, what tools have I used, what machine learning algorithms I have used. If I am using linear regression, this is very vast. I should know most of the things with linear regression. If I'm using random forest, why am I using random forest? What are the flaws? What are the disadvantages and advantages? If I'm using certain statistical tools, I should know about the p-test, the hypothesis testing, which is very important. So all these questions, once you start, questioning yourself about a project, why have I applied this? What What if I have applied something else? So try and practice that. Try applying various algorithms, try applying various metrics and see whether the result improves or not. So that you'll be in a position to discuss this with the interviewer, and who knows, he might give you another good, very practical solution. You might be looking forward. So take this interview process as a kind of a very jovial and a very healthy communication conversation between you two, because that is what it is. You are here to find a solution, so let's do it together. Involve him. If he's not getting involved, not a problem. Not a problem. Then you should know how to just turn around that interview in your favor. Now that is something different. If you've got that problem, do let me know. Maybe I can help you, because it is rare to find a person who's really get disengaged and do what you do. You can with your skills get the other person talking. Okay, so this is about the interview part and how to really deal with interview. And I just also want to tell you something more about my interview process. It's not that I have not failed in interviews. I'm not that clear in oops, I was not that clear in object oriented programming. So one interviewer told me that coding is not in your blood. You know what I thought inside? I was like, it is in nobody's blood. Hemoglobin, RBCs, WBCs are in the blood. Okay, so I did not say this thing, but yes, this thing really triggered something in me, and I was like, okay, what are the reasons that he said these things? Although I was offered a job, not because of that I was weak in coding, but because of my different skills. He offered me a job, but I did not join because I had to sharpen my skills on which I was lacking. I took it as a challenge, and I practiced. So another important thing is, if you understand the problem and if you're not able to give the solution to the interviewer, it doesn't make sense. So you have to practice whatever concepts you've learned, practice them, implement them, because nothing is really gonna solve your problem until and unless you get involved with yourself. You get learning, you get engaged, and you practice a lot and a lot of problems. The more you fail at your home, the better the chances that you succeed in the interview. Simple as that. And it's like, now, the more you sweat, the less you bleed. That was in boys, right? So the more you code, the more problems, the more frustration you have inside your house, the better chances of getting selected outside. Don't lose hope, because uh, if you're not getting selected in one company, next good company is waiting for you guys. Okay, so keep trying and keep practicing. Don't take interview as a burden. Take it as a very good, exciting, and cheerful exercise of talking to another person, having an opportunity to communicate with a person who is having an experience in that field. You might learn so many things from them. Just look for an opportunity that, oh wow, I'm gonna learn so many things from him, and let's see how can I apply what I know. So go with a very clear mindset, with an open mind, and cheerfulness, positivity. It should just radiate from you, so that the interview would feel that yes, yeah. Because once you enter, because I did MBA also and in HR, so we were being told that the moment you enter, it is being decided that you would be selected or not. Okay, half a perception is being made, and rest of the things are being decided in the span of 35-40 minutes, whatever the length of the interview is. So it depends on which company you are applying and what is their round of process. Few interviews last for 1 2 3 rounds. Some are like 4 rounds, 2 rounds, depend on the worth of the company and how difficult have they made it for the candidates. Don't lose heart, guys. Just do it, because I know one thing, that if I can do it being a non-coding person, anyone can do it. Seriously, this is damn easy. And what the main thing that just hit me was interest. Okay, I find Python really very interesting because it's easy. That's why I'm sticking to it. That's why I'm making projects in it, and I'm really liking it. So find your interest, keep moving, and you would really love learning. You will expand. So yes, This was about this video about how do you really approach an interview, how do you really approach your life. Actually, it has been reflected in that interview. How can you solve your problems at home, and how do you solve them? Do you question it? Why, where, when, what? This is how you approach a coding problem, right? And this is what is being seen by the interviewer. So yes, uh, they are looking for sorted people, they are looking for simple people. So make sure that you are simple enough to solve problems, complex problems, because if you're simple, you'll make things simple, right? Okay, and don't forget to subscribe. Make things simple for me too, guys. And I'll come up with next more interesting videos. Suggest whatever you want, and I would come up with more informative videos. Share my own experience about the data science journey, and much more to come in the coming months. So stay tuned, and guys, thanks for watching. Keep showing your love. Thank you for the support. Thank you.